Right, good morning, welcome back. Okay, today, Qxford HotGrips. Who hasn't heard of these? These have been on the market for I don't know how long. I fitted a pair to Penny's bike about 10 years ago and they're still working fine today. They're a great retro option for older bikes that don't have factory fitted hot grips, which just about every new bike does these days, but not these older models. So today I'm going to fit some to the big Triumph because this is my winter bike. I'm going to be riding this all through the cold, dark months and I don't like freezing cold hands that seize up. Now, it's never been easier to fit these. They come with full instructions. It's the same simple procedure to fit them as it always was. You slip them on the end, you plug them in and you tab them to the battery. You don't need fancy wiring or relays or splicing or soldering or anything. They're simplicity itself to fit. They really are. So even though they've got instructions, if you need a quick visual to help you, here is a run through on how you fit them. Okay, taking the old factory grips off, obviously loads of ways to do it. You can just run a blade down it and chuck them in the bin, but that seemed a bit wasteful to me. So there's a couple of methods. You can take an airline, squirt some compressed air up inside there, and it will just blow them straight off. Alternatively, if you haven't got an airline, you can take a little tiny screwdriver, slip it up inside, squirt some WD-40 or GT85, any service spray up inside there, work that screwdriver all around the outside so it breaks the grip of any glue, and then the grip itself will slip around and you can slide it off and save them for another day. Right, a tiny bit of surgery needed here. These ridges around the outside of your throttle tube need to be removed. You need to use a blade or a file or sandpaper or whatever and smooth off this plastic tube totally because the new hot grip is physically glued on and doesn't need any of these ridges at all. Right, having sanded all of the rough edges from shaving off of the tube and all of the rough edges off of the left-hand bar itself, and in my case I've actually had to take the paint off completely to get it down to the prescribed size. The left-hand side needs to be precisely 22mm and the throttle tube here needs to be precisely 25.6mm, and it's important because inside these tubes is a hard plastic tube. Now it's split all the way down so it does expand very slightly to give a nice snug fit, but there isn't much tolerance. So once you're sure, then you can do a dry fit. Always make sure before you glue these on, just a test dry fit first. They should go on with minimum effort, like that, a little bit of a twist and a rotate and slide nicely into place. If they don't, if they jam up, then take them off again. Use a bit more of your sandpaper like a strip and keep sanding until they do slip on nicely, and then you can glue them in place after that. It's critical that you test the system before you glue these in place, because if they don't function, you need to slip them off, put them back in the box and return them to the vendor. Can't do that if you've glued them in place. So dry fit them. You can also at the same time orientate the grips to where you know they need to be in relation to the wiring so it sits neatly, and then put a little mark, as I did, so you can see when you've got the super glue in your hand and a few seconds to get it right, you can slip them on straight into the right position. And of course, test that the system functions. So that it absolutely works. You've got no problem with that at all. They both get lovely and hot. So now I know everything's right. All I need to do is glue the grips on properly, tidy all the wiring away, make a nice install of it, and pop the bodywork back on, and we're done. Toasty fingers. Right, there we are. Now they get too hot to hold with bare hands in the end. Seriously do. They peaked at about 60 degrees on maximum. That's way more than you're going to need out there on the road. So I'm very happy with the result. Like I said earlier, most factory bikes now come with heated grips, but these older bikes don't. And in real time, that was about an hour to fit those if you do it yourself. Make a really nice, clean, tidy install. Take the time to do it right and make sure you make everything tucked away neatly so nothing's trapped or pinched, and you'll have warm, toasty hands all winter. So now I'm going to leave a link to these in the description below. I got them from sportsbikeshop.com, just a random seller. I wanted something a little bit discounted and I found them on there at £46. Good deal. So there we are. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. Ride safe. We'll see you next time.